Hello and welcome to Read with Hadini. I am Omo Shalua, your host and fellow book lover. This is a space where I share my reading experiences with my audience, where I share the lessons I have learned and the fascinating insights I have discovered in the books I read. So whether you are an avid reader, a book lover, or just looking for your next great book, you're in the right place and in the right space. Let's dive into today's read and explore the wisdom packed in this book together. You're welcome once again to Read with Haduni podcast. And on today's episode, we'll be starting a new chapter, and that is chapter 5. A quick recap of our last episode, we concluded chapter 4 and we learned a lot about goals and how self discipline influences our goals, how we can improve our life by setting goals, by putting pen to paper. And there was another fascinating thing that stood out for me in the last episode, and that is the act of mindstorming, and that is thinking on a particular goal, writing it in form of a question, and giving like 20 answers to this particular question so that we'll be able to arrive at different ways and different methods in which we can solve and achieve this particular goals. So on today's episode, the chapter 5 is titled Self-Discipline and Personal Excellence. Self-discipline and personal excellence. We have what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act but a habit. And this was written by Aristotle. So let's go into today's read. You are your most valuable asset. Your life, your potential, and your possibilities are the most precious things you have. Thus, your great goal in life should be to fulfill that potential and become everything you are capable of becoming. Your ability to learn, grow, and fulfill your potential is unlimited. Today, people are graduating from high school and college in their 70s, learning new subjects and developing new capabilities. Your ability to learn and remember can continue throughout your life if you keep your brain alive, alert, and functioning at its best. There is no age limit to learning. Whether you're in your 20s, you're in your 30s, you're in your 40s, up to your 80s, and even your 90s, by God's grace, you can always find something to learn. Your most precious financial asset is your earning ability, your ability to make money. Your ability to work is your primary source of cash throughout your life. You could lose your home, your car, your bank accounts, and everything you own. But as long as you have your earning ability, you can earn it all back and more in the months and years ahead. Your biggest investment. What's your biggest investment? Most people don't realize this. They take their earning ability for granted, but it has taken you your entire life to develop your earning ability. Every bit of education, experience, and hard work that you have invested in learning your craft and developing your skills has gone into building these assets. Your earning ability is very much like a muscle. It can increase in strength and power year by year as the result of regular exercise. Likewise, the opposite is true too. If left alone or ignored, your earning ability, like your muscles, can become weaker or even decline because you have simply failed to upgrade it continually. In other words, your earning ability can be either an appreciating or a depreciating asset. An appreciating asset is something that grows in value and cash flow every year as the result of continual investment and improvement. A depreciating asset, on the other hand, is something that loses value over time and finally reaches the point at which it is written off, being of little or no further value. The choice is yours as to whether your earning ability is increasing or decreasing month by month and year by year. So the author is letting us know that Whether our earning ability increases or whether it decreases, it's up to us. It's up to what we do with our skills, what we do with our crafts, what we do with our education, what we do with our experiences over the years. This will greatly influence our earning ability. He also said that it's like a muscle. If you're not using it, it will be dormant. But if you're using it, it will become better and better. Likewise, if you use your skills, your asset, your education, your hard work, your experiences, it's going to increase your earning ability and it's going to make you have a better life. You are the president. See yourself as the president of your own personal services corporation. Imagine that you were going to take your company public on the stock market. Would you recommend your company as a growth stock, continually increasing its value and earning ability each year? Or would you describe your company as one that has leveled off in the marketplace, that is not really going anywhere in terms of increased value and income? Would you recommend stock in You Inc., that is incorporation, as an excellent investment? Why or why not? What got you here won't get you any further. Now, some people are actually losing value each year, declining in earning ability because they are not continually upgrading their knowledge and skills. They don't realize that whatever knowledge and skill they have today is rapidly becoming obsolete. It is being replaced by new knowledge and skills that, if you don't have them and someone else does, you will be in danger of being overtaken by your competition. So there is a need to upgrade your knowledge and skills. Don't let any day go by without you gaining something, without you improving your knowledge, without you improving your skills. There are a lot of things, there are a lot of information out there, and thank God we are in the era of internet of things, in the sense that the world is now a global village. We can go on the internet and search for information, source for things, watch videos to get better at something that we know or something that we are doing presently. Join the top 20%. In chapter 1, I mentioned that the 80-20 rule applies to income. The top 20% of people in our society earn and control 80% of the assets. According to Forbes, Fortune, Businessweek, and the Wall Street Journal and the IRS, by many by many estimates, the top 1% of Americans control as much as 33% of the assets. The most interesting discovery in income inequality is that most millionaires, multimillionaires, and billionaires in America are first generation. They are not old money. They actually worked and made their millions. They started with little or nothing and earned all their money by themselves in one lifetime. In America, there is a high level of income mobility, which means you are able to move from lower levels of income to the upper levels. Almost everyone who is in the top 20% today started in the bottom 20%. From that point, they began to do something different with their time and their lives, and as a result, they put themselves squarely onto the upward escalator of financial success, meaning that they did something, they upgraded, they improved their skills, they got more knowledge, they got engaged in different things to make sure that they become people that are now among the top 20%. Now, there is no limits on your potential. No limits on your potential. The average income increase in America is about 3% a year, just about the same as the rate of inflation and cost of living increases. People whose income is increasing at 3% a year seldom get ahead. They have a job, which can also be thought of as an acronym for just over broke. But the fact is that no one is better than you and no one is smarter than you. If someone is doing better than you are today, it is simply proof that he has learned how the law of cause and effect applies to his work, and he has begun doing the things that other successful people have also done. The application of the law of cause and effect to your personal life is learn and do. The achievement of personal excellence is a decision you make or that you fail to make. But in the absence of a commitment to excellence in your chosen field, you automatically default to average performance or even mediocrity. No one becomes excellent accidentally or by just going to work each day. Excellence requires a definite decision and a lifelong commitment. The keys to the 21st century. The keys to the 21st century. Knowledge and skill are the keys to the 21st century. Becoming the best person you can possibly be and moving to the top of your field require the application of self-discipline throughout your life. Mental fitness is like physical fitness. If you want to achieve either, you must work at it all your life. You can never let up. You can never give up. You must be continually learning and growing every day, every week, and every month throughout your career and in other areas of your life. If you're going to join the top 20% and stay there, to earn more, you must learn more. Let me repeat that. To earn more, you must learn more. Abraham Lincoln once wrote, "The fact that some have become wealthy is proof that others may do it as well." So, meaning that one good thing that happens for one can also happen for another. What others have done, you can do as well if you learn how. Everyone who is at the top was once at the bottom. Many people who come from average or poor families with average incomes or who grew up in average circumstances have gone on to become some of the most prominent people in their fields. And what hundreds of thousands and even millions of other people have done, you can do as well. The philosopher Bertrand Russell once wrote that the very best proof that something can be done is that someone else has already done it. This reminds me of research. So, when we are to write on a particular topic in academic writing, you are told that you're not reinventing the wheel, you're just building on what someone else has done. And whatever little nuances or whatever little discovery that you're able to make along the line, it might even just be on the methodology or the theory you're using or even the results or your findings, it's enough. So you're building on what someone else has done. So I think it's the same thing this philosopher is just trying to let us understand, that for the fact that something has been done, or for the fact that you are able to do something because someone else has done it, it means that you're on the right track. So the very best proof that something can be done is that someone else has already done it. So if you have millionaires, if you have billionaires, if you have multi-billionaires, it means that this wealth thing that is being spoken about, that we go to seminars, to conference, to our place of worship, to listen to motivational speakers talk about wealth, riches, and how to acquire this. For the fact that there are people that are living in this reality, it's enough to give you the confidence that you also can achieve this. Ordinary into extraordinary. Very often, you see people who don't seem to be as intelligent or as talented as you are, who are nonetheless accomplishing remarkable things with their lives. There is nothing that will make you angrier than to see someone who seems to be dumber than you doing better than you. How can this be? The answer is simple. At a certain point in their lives, they realized that the key to success was personal and professional growth. It was a dedication to lifelong learning. The good news is that almost every important skill is learnable. Every business skill is learnable. Everyone who is proficient in any area of business was at one time completely ignorant in that area. Every sales skill is learnable. Every top salesperson was once a beginning salesperson and unable to make a call or close a sale. All money making skills are learnable as well. Almost every wealthy person was once poor. You can learn anything you need to learn to achieve any goal you can set for yourself. Hmm. You can learn anything you want to learn. Anything in life is learnable. Any skill is learnable. It's just like how in this part of the world, people are moving into tech. And when I look at people that are now in tech, most of them didn't even start up as engineering students or um, computer science students, or they were not into programming at a very young age or during their university days, but they just decide to pick interest in learning about tech, and now they are doing great things. They are big guys, big girls, and are doing great. And this is a skill they picked up at a particular point in time in their life, and they decided, oh, I think I want to learn this. I have a feel for this particular line, and they went for it. There are people that have gone into businesses that they knew nothing about from the scratch, but they give themselves to learning, and now they are making millions and they are doing something great for themselves. So this is just to buttress the point the author is trying to prove, that everything is learnable, every skill is learnable. Make a decision. The starting point of your moving upward and onward towards becoming one of the most competent, most respected, and highest paid people in your field is simple. Make a decision. Make a decision. It is said that every major change in your life comes about when your mind collides with a new idea, and you then make a decision to do something different. You make a decision to complete your education, you make a decision to upgrade your skills or get into a good college. You make a decision to start a new business. You make a decision to take a particular job or start a particular career. You make a decision to invest your money in a particular way, and especially you make a decision to be the best in your field. Many people say that they would like to be happy, healthy, thin, and rich. But as we discussed in chapter 4, which was titled Self Discipline and Goals, wishing and hoping are not enough. You have to make a firm, unequivocal decision that you're going to pay any price and go any distance in order to achieve the goals you have set for yourself. You have to make that decision and then burn your mental bridges behind you. From that minute on, you resolve to continue working on yourself and your craft until you reach the top 20% or beyond. Follow the leaders, not the followers. Follow the leaders, not the followers. When you decide to be one of the best people in your field, look around you and identify the people who are already at the top. Now, what characteristics do they have in common? How do they plan and organize their days? How do they dress? How do they walk, talk, and behave with other people? What books do they read? How do they spend their spare time? Who do they associate with? What courses have they taken? What audio programs do they listen to in their cars? These are just a few of the questions you should ask in order to find out what successful people are doing that you might also need to do. After all, you can't eat a target that you cannot see. Your selection of the right role models can have an enormous impact on your future. Dr. David McLeod of Harvard and author of The Achieving Society concluded that your choice of a reference group can determine as much as 95% of your success and achievements in life. Your reference group is made of the people who you feel are just like me. Your natural tendency is to adopt the attitude, styles of dress, opinions, and lifestyles of the people with whom you identify and associate most of the time. So I'm going to give an example regarding this. So the author is trying to let us know that we have to have a role model. Yes, a reference group, people in your line of business, your line of career, your line of interest. It might necessarily not be about career or business. Maybe you want to model your life after them. Like you want the way you like the way they carry themselves, you like the way they talk, you like how they behave, and you want to carry yourself. You want to model your life. You want your life to be pattern, just as their lives look like. So recently, naturally I when I talk very loud. I have a loud voice. In fact, one of my siblings, anytime I'm on the call with him, he's always like, "You're shouting, can you just lower your voice?" And I think I've been like that since I was very young. And I could remember there are times I'll be talking with my friends and they'll feel like, oh, I'm arguing with them. So in the past 2 or 3 months, I sat down. Whenever I'm not busy, I love to watch YouTube videos, and there are some ladies I follow on YouTube, and I also follow them on Instagram and Facebook as well. And there are this group of ladies, the way they carry themselves, the way they talk, they were not like that before, but they trained themselves to talk like that, to be calm, to present themselves, even their mode of dressing. And I told myself, "Oh, I really want to fashion my life after these ladies. I love what they do. I love how they speak. I love how they carry themselves." And every day, I make sure I watch a views videos about them. I make sure I read whatever it is they write, and I begin to incorporate this into my routine, into my lifestyle, into my choice of what I wear, how I dress, how I talk. I'm not there yet. Yes, it's a lot. I've been like that since I was a child, so it would take a long while for me to become what I want to become. But one thing is that you have to have role models. If you want to achieve something great, if you want to be someone great in your career, in your business, in your way of life, you want it to be great, you have to have people that you look up to. And this is what the author is actually saying, that you have to look for a reference group, people that make you feel like, oh, these people are just like me, or they've had similar experiences like me, and they overcame these experiences, and now they are living their best life. You have to have people like that. Now, there is a story here written by the author, which I'm going to read to us, and that is titled Fly with the Eagles. Some years ago, one of my seminar participants told me a story. Bob Barton said he had started off in his 20s in a large company with about 32 salespeople in his branch. It was his first real job and he was starting at the bottom. Because he was new, he hung around with the other junior salespeople. So as they say, birds of a feather flock together. After a month or two, Bob noticed that the top sales people in the office also associated with each other. They did not spend time with the junior salespeople. They also spent their time differently. So when Bob got into work in the morning, the top salespeople were already there, planning their days and working on the telephone and making appointments. Bob also noticed that the junior salespeople would come in later, drink coffee, read the newspaper, and make excuses for not making sales calls. Learn from the best. So Bob decided he was going to pattern himself after the top salespeople in the office. He looked at the way they dressed and groomed, and he resolved to dress and groom the way they do. Each morning, he would stand in front of his mirror and ask himself, do I look like one of the top salesperson in my office? If the answer was no, he would go back and change his clothes until he felt that he looked as good as the best people. He began to come into the office and organize his day before 8:30 a.m. so that he was ready to make calls as soon as his customers were available to see him. So one day, Bob asked one of the top salespeople if he could recommend a book or audio program that would help him. It turns out that top people are always willing to help other people improve. So when he got the recommendation, Bob immediately went out and got the book and sent away for the audio program. He read the book and listened to the program, and then reported back to the top salesman. The top salesman gave him some more advice on things to read and listen to, all of which Bob followed. Wow. So, this is where we're going to stop on today's episode. Chapter 5 is actually packed with a lot of gems, a lot. Like, I feel like someone is sitting me down and talking to me. Like, this is how I feel right now. Like, an older person is actually talking to me. We're having a conversation, and he's telling me, oh, this is how you should do it. This is how to improve. This is how to be more excellent in your choice of career, in your business, in your academics, and all, your way of life. So I'm so looking forward to completing this chapter 5 and taking hold of the great wisdom and information that is loaded in this chapter. I hope we're able to take one or two lessons from this particular chapter, and that is that your great goal in life should be to fulfill that potential and become everything you're capable of becoming. Like, you are able to become whatever it is you want to become. If you want to try one or two things, you are able to try one or two things. There is grace available, there is help available, there is information out there that you could use and leverage on. There are people that are already doing what you have done and they are successful in it, and you can pattern, you can ask questions, you can follow them on social media, you can check their LinkedIn profile, you can send mails to them, and you can talk to people. Don't be afraid to talk to people that are better than you. I think this is something I learned from my dad when I was very young. He's always telling me that when you see someone that's better than you in a particular thing, don't be scared. The word that this person can say is, oh, I'm sorry, or no. And I've come to realize that, just like the author said, people that are on the top, they are willing to help. But he gave me a caveat: don't ask them for money. So don't ask them for financial assistance. So when they know that you're not coming to them for financial assistance, you're coming to them for knowledge, for wisdom, for the know-how to better your life, they are always, always open to help you. So thank you once again for coming to Read with Hadele podcast. I hope you also had a wonderful time on today's episode, just like I have had. Take care of yourself, stay hydrated, eat your fruits and vegetables, don't allow stress, and strive for excellence in every area of your life. And until I come your way on another episode of Read with Hadini, have a wonderful time and take care of yourself. Bye.